Aloha, I'm Diann Wilson with the Hawaii Writers Guild, and welcome to Write On, our YouTube show with tips, tricks, inspiration, and education for all you writers out there. Today we have a different format for you. While typically I have a guest that I interview, this time I interviewed several guests in advance. Some have been previous guests on the show, others are writer friends of mine, to get their ideas about how to promote the writing that we've done. And I'm here to share that with you today. So, the number one tip that I got, and almost everybody suggested this as a way to get your promoting out there, is through the use of social media. I could do an entire program on social media alone, but today I want to give you just a few highlights. Number one is a website. Now, websites can cost you money if you pay for somebody to develop one for you. They also cost a bit to keep up on the web annually. However, you can create a website by yourself. I know people who have done that. You also can link your website to the Hawaii Writers Guild website, which helps get you double promotion. It is definitely something that a publisher will ask you about if you are trying to get your book published. And so do think about getting a website, and you can go online, especially on Hawaii Writers Guild website, and take a look at people's websites to get ideas. Number two is through Meta, which we mostly know as Facebook. And you've got options there. Facebook is free. You can have your own website, and many of us have our own websites where we promote our writing. You can also have an author page on Facebook. So take a look at those and see what you might work out as far as getting yourself publicized on that. Next is Instagram, and this is getting into a little bit of a younger population, along with TikTok and Snapchat. So look at these as possibilities. They are oftentimes just a quick little picture or a little snippet of something, so they don't take a whole lot of time. And finally, YouTube. A program like this is something that anybody can create for free and put online. The main thing, however, is to keep it active. You can't just post one thing on Instagram and think people will keep coming and looking at your site. So make sure that you keep things moving once you post them online. The next way to promote your writing is through contests. And a lot of people don't think about this, but I have talked with folks, members of the Guild. Carol is one who got herself a little extra publicity by entering a contest. There are zillions out there. This list is through my friend Jeff, and it's just an example of what you can find. I was most excited to see that you can actually apply for the Pulitzer Prize. Now, not all of these are free. Costs can be $5 up to $75. Some of them are free. You can do a search online, or you can use Writer's Digest, or some of the other journals for writers out there to find contests that you can enter. Next, we're going to get you out from behind the computer and out in the public eye. For those of us who are writers and feel comfortable writing, this may be a little less comfortable for us. However, think about going to book festivals. Tucson Festival of Books is one that I'm familiar with. There was just recently, my friend Zach hosted a Hawaii Writers Festival in Kona. Get a table. Sometimes they're free, but mostly you pay a small fee to have a table. Have your books available. Have your best face forward. Talk to people. Promote your book. You can sell books. You can sign your books. You can find book festivals online, or also, again, through writing journals. Also, arts and crafts fairs. This is a trend I've started noticing, where the festivals are really for arts and crafts, but local writers will show up. They'll get a table. They might have it by themselves, or you might share it with somebody. And again, have a variety of your books on the table, sell them, talk to people about them, sign them for folks. They love an autographed book. Next is local bookstores. And I have had different people suggest this and different approaches to this. Some folks take multiple copies of their books to the store and ask them if they would carry the book. You can sell on consignment. You can sell outright to the bookstore. But there are a variety of folks that are using this, and especially if you've written a book about the community that your bookstore is in, they like to have local authors presented in their bookstores. Just like the public library. This is different depending on where you live. So some libraries, you can take a copy of the book in. They might have to send it to the main office to get it approved. Other libraries have an online form that you fill out to get your book presented to them. I just went into a local library where I am and took a copy of the book, and I said, I live here. I'm an author. I wrote this book. And they said, great. And they took a copy of it and they put it in their shelves. But do make sure that you get people to check the book out. So I have not only used this technique, but I've also said to people, would you go check it out so that they see it's a popular book and they want to keep it on their shelves. Next is book clubs. If you're in one, suggest to your fellow book club members that they read your book. If you're not in one, but you know people who are, ask them if they'd be willing to read your book. You might even offer them a free copy. For sure, offer them to come to the book club meeting and lead the discussion or answer questions for folks. So if you're not all that comfortable putting yourself forward in person, how about putting it forward in print? Number one, if you have graduated from a college or a high school that has an alumni newsletter, contact them. Let them know you're an alum, you've written a book, give a little blurb, send a copy of the book cover to them, and get that in print so that all of those other graduates can see that one of their fellow graduates is an author. Next up is newspapers. I've had great success with this. My friend Virginia wrote a story about my book, and she published it in the Kohala Mountain News. I contacted a newspaper and asked them if they would be willing to do a review for me, and the woman got in touch with me, and she reviewed my book. And then one newspaper just had an online form that you had to fill out. And so I filled out the form, and they also published a review of my book. So this is a great way to get your book in the hands of a lot of people that you don't even know. Next, my friend Anne, who was a previous guest on this show, used postcards, and she did up a very inexpensive yet very nice looking postcard that promoted the fact that she had published a book. And she sent that out and carries them with her and uses that as a way to publicize. Next up is bookmarks, and this is something my friend Jeff recommended and something I did. And this can be used in different ways, but I have information about my book, about where to find the book. And what I've done with bookmarks is I've gone to the little free libraries that are around, and I open up books and tuck the bookmark in there. So people who otherwise I would have no contact with see that there's a book out there, and they may keep the bookmark, and it may remind them to find a copy. If you want to get back out there, sometimes we're behind the computer, sometimes we're in front of it. There is a real need to speak up. And before we start speaking up, we need to know what it is we're going to say. So be sure to prepare your elevator speech. I know the first book I published, I wanted to let people know I'd published a book, but I stammered a bit with, yes, I'm an author. Well, I'm a co-author, and I wrote a book. Well, it's a business book. So be sure you have in just a couple of sentences, I'm an author, I'm a writer, and here's what my book is about. Once you've got that ready, then you need to tell all of your friends and family. And if you're not that great about doing it in person live, that's where you can use the bookmarks, use the postcards. You can send those out to everybody you know. You can also use social media and post on your Facebook page to all of your friends and all of your family. And again, I'm an author. I'm a published author. Here's what I wrote, and here's what it's about. Tell new acquaintances. We all have an opportunity to meet new people. When we do, typically the first thing they say is, what do you do? Or what did you do? So you can tell them your job, but you can also say, and I'm an author, and I'm a writer. And here's what I wrote, and here's what it's about. Noticing a theme here. Next is to encourage friends and family to promote for you. I actually didn't have to encourage friends and family, but they did it on their own, and I'm so grateful for it. My sister has shared the book with multiple people. My sister-in-law actually sold a copy on a golf course. She was golfing with somebody who said they were looking for something lighthearted to read. I write humor. She told her about my book. Her friend bought it and actually sent me a note about how much she enjoyed it, which was really great. And my husband, Steve, is the greatest promoter. There's nobody that we've talked to that he hasn't said, did you know Diann wrote a book? So ask people, especially if you're not comfortable doing it and other people are, let them do that for you. One other idea that did not fit into any of the other categories I had listed came from my friend Isla, and it is earrings. I know that's an odd way to promote your writing, but she found a vendor online that sells earrings that are like miniature copies of her book. They were just darling, and she got a lot of comments on those. So, for those of you who wear earrings and are looking at a different way of promoting, think about that as well. Also, after making this recording, Joy from Hawaii Writers Guild sent out an email to all of the members, and this was another idea of some contests to enter. It's Ellen Bass's newsletter, so if you aren't a member of the Hawaii Writers Guild, think about joining us. Or look up Ellen Bass online, and she has a list of contests that people can enter to promote their books. Finally, I know not all of us wrote books to become rich, but we did write because we wanted to share what we had to say with others. So please do take a look at these suggestions that came from various writers and see if there's one or two of them that you can use to help promote the work that you've done. This is just a few of the ideas collected. I'm sure that there are more out there. Please use the techniques wisely. If you want more information about Hawaii Writers Guild, go to www.hawaiiwritersguild.org and write on.